Hi everyone, welcome. It is nearly 6 p.m. on the head, and I usually log on just a few seconds a little bit earlier. Once again, just to double check that the equipment, my laptop, its camera, and my microphone are working. So the moment it goes 6 p.m. on the head, we will begin. And what I'm going to say is if you join a little late, that's fine. We will start in a comfy seated position. That's just to make sure, uh, just in case any latecomers or stragglers just join and enjoy. All right. Okay, I'll put that in. Okay, without further ado, welcome to your class, 6 o'clock on the head. And depending on, most of you have been probably sitting in front of a desk or working hard, giving your all. So this is just going to be a session to help you re-energize, because it is important to remember to re-energize and revitalize the mind and the body. That is extremely important because, and especially in this time, because you cannot give that which you do not have. So it is very important to make sure you're doing that. And how we're going to start is you're going to be starting in a seated position. And you notice I was playing with my football, so I'm just going to put that away. Okay. And you're coming into a seated position, so you can come into either seated, like so, on your knees and on your shins, and this is known as a Zazen position. Or, if you feel more comfortable, you can come into a cross-legged position. But find the seated position that works best for you. So even if it means you sitting like so, or however, do so. And once you've got that comfortable seat, start to open up through the chest. So you'll notice what I'm doing with my hands. I'm pulling my hands open and pulling my shoulder blades towards each other. That gives me that sense of opening up through the chest. And at the same time, start to pull the rib cage in, and then from there, start to find a very strong yet relaxed position. And then direct your awareness to your breathing. Just starting to allow your breath to deepen and look to channel that breath deep into the belly. Feeling for the expansion of the belly on the in-breath, and feel the belly fall on the out-breath. And if you want to get a more tactile sense of that belly expanding like a balloon, literally place your hands on the belly. Imagine you have a balloon there. And on the in-breath, try and imagine like you're filling up that balloon, and you'll feel the belly push the hands out very gently. Try to make that in-breath very long, very luxurious, very decadent. Try and really fill up the lungs. Imagine you're filling up a cylinder that is your lungs, filling it up all the way. And then on the exhale, letting it go. And what you might notice is that after a challenging day at work, there might still be a lot of thoughts going on in the head. The mind might still be running around, and that's perfectly okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the breath as an anchor. And the mind will run around, it will move. That is the nature of the mind, and that's fine, that's okay. When you become aware that the mind has moved, or whether you become aware it's running around, once you're aware of it, then bring yourself back to your breathing. Coming back to that very deep belly breathing that we're playing with for now. Starting to check in with your heartbeat and begin to notice what the heartbeat might be doing. And check in with your alignments and your posture. Notice if you might have a tendency to want to slouch, or the shoulders might have a tendency to want to fall inwards or slouch. And if you become aware that that's happening, readjust and reset. Start to open up through the chest. Keep the core active. Notice how the more you're able to stay with the breath, the more settled the mind starts to feel. And you might start to feel a sense of centeredness and a sense of settling or calmness very slowly starting to emerge. And even if it doesn't, that's okay. Even if the mind is very busy, that's perfectly okay. All you're doing is you're using that breath anchor. And then from there, starting to take a very deep breath in, really filling up the lungs and filling up the belly. Feel for that expansion on the in-breath. Gently side out through the mouth. Another very deep breath in, once again, filling up the lungs, filling up the belly. And notice if you can stay with the breath for slightly longer. And when your bodily intuition tells you very powerfully, sighing it all out through the mouth, once again. Doing this for one last time in your own time. Take a deep breath in. Explore that capacity available to you. And stay with the breath for as long as you feel comfortable. Maybe a moment slightly longer than that. And then when your body tells you, very powerfully starting to sigh it all out through the mouth. And then from there, gently starting to blink the eyes open. And from here, so that was a bit of a mindfulness practice. And that's usually a way to bring you into a bit of a calm mental state. Sorry, somebody's just wanting to join. So I've just admitted them. But from here, what we're going to do is we're going to start to warm up the spine and start to energize the body a bit. So you're going to start to come into a box-shaped position. And with your box shape, coming onto your hands and on your knees. And now checking in with the alignment, make sure that your wrists start to stack underneath your shoulders and that your hands are shoulder width apart. And then turn your fingertips such that your index fingers are parallel to one another. And once you have that, gently start to grip into the floor. Feel your fingertips make contact with the floor. And you'll start to feel the forearms turn on. Now looking at the legs, making sure that the knees start to stack underneath the hips and the legs are hip width apart. And if you look in between your legs, you should not see your feet. And that is how you know that your alignment of the box is correct. And then from there, we're going to start to warm up the spine by moving through the cat and the cow stretch. So on the next inhale, start to draw your shoulder blades towards each other. Notice how my spine goes. So I open up the front body, I look forward, and I keep my core active as I do this. This is my cow stretch. And then on the exhale, I draw the chin in towards the chest. Notice how my back broadens. And I stretch and I push the floor away from me, much like how a cat will stretch. And now I link my breath to my movement. So on the inhale, I come into that cow stretch, opening up through the spine, filling up the lungs. On the exhale, I push back into that cat stretch, breathing out, creating space through the front body, feeling for the activation through the front side of the core, linking my breath to my movement as I start to warm up the spine, the pelvic girdle, and the shoulder girdle. So cat and cow is very good as a basic warm-up. It's applicable to all ages, all body types, wherever you are. Generally, it's quite easy for everybody to start to move through cat and cow. And this is also going to be very beneficial for the spine, especially if you've been seated in a chair for 8 hours or more for a prolonged period. So you're just moving through this. And once you're comfortable with that movement, you're then going to start to freestyle through the movement and move in any way that feels good in the body. Allow your bodily intuition to move you in any pattern or any movement that feels good in the body, and begin to check in and notice any movements that feel very good. Notice any muscles or any areas of the body that might be feeling tight or sore or restricted in any way. We don't often give ourselves the freedom of movement to just move in any way our bodies allow us. And then once you're done with that, you're going to come back into that neutral box-shaped position. And now we're going to work on activating the core, the front side of the core, and the rear or the outside of the core. You're going to start to extend your right leg towards the back of the mat. The toe is untucked, and all of your toes is making contact with the mat. And then from there, on the next inhale, firing that buttocks muscle or that glute maximus, and lift that leg as high as you can. Try to inhale and look forward. Keep the core active as you do this. On the exhale, start to lower that leg gently back down and see if you can hover that leg just above the mat. On the next inhale, start to lift that leg, look forward and activate that glute. And now finding a cat spine broaden through the back. And on the exhale, start to draw that knee in towards the forehead. Pull the forehead towards the knee. And notice if you can keep your wrists stacking over your shoulders. On the next inhale, extend that leg towards the back and look forward. And on the exhale, draw the knee in towards the forehead, broaden through the back, find that cat spine. Keep wrists stacking over shoulders. On the next inhale, extend that leg. And now we're going to play with balance a bit. So extend the left arm forward and lengthen. And then from there, on the next exhale, you're going to start to draw the left elbow to meet the right knee, finding your balance. And on the inhale, start to extend and lengthen. Exhale, draw left elbow towards right knee, find your balance. Inhale, extend and lengthen. Lower your left hand down, lower your right knee down, come back into that box, and then readjust and realign such that the hands are still stacking underneath the shoulders and the knees are still stacking under the hips. And now we go for the opposite side. So extend the left leg as you did, untuck the toes. On the next inhale, look forward, lift that leg as high as you can. Feel for that buttocks muscle fire. Exhale, start to lower that leg down, hover just above the mat. Inhale, lift that leg as high as you can, looking forward. Keep the core active. Now, finding a cat spine, broaden through the back. And on the exhale, draw that knee in towards the forehead, broaden through the back. Try and keep the wrists stacking over the shoulders. On the next inhale, extend that leg and lengthen. Look forward. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the forehead, broaden through the back. Begin to inhale, extend that leg, look forward. Now take the right arm forward and lengthen. From there, on the next exhale, take the right elbow, draw it towards left knee, find your balance. Start to inhale, extend and lengthen. Exhale, draw right elbow towards left knee. Inhale, extend and lengthen. And then start to lower down. And then from here, just taking a bit of a break. So bring your big toes to touch, spread the knees out to the width of the mat. Push your buttocks down towards your heels. And then once you have that, gently start to lower your hands down. Lower your forehead down as you come into a child's pose. Relax into the stretch. Use this time to check in with your breath. Take a very deep breath in. Gently sigh it all out. And then from there, you're going to start to come back up into your box shape. And now, you're going to maybe turn to face such that you're side on. And we're going to be working on opening up the hips a little bit. So you're going to start by taking your right leg out towards the side. You notice that my toes are pointing out towards the side. And what I want to do is I want to try and get the foot flat down. So if you need to bend your knee, do so and press that foot nice and flat down. And this is known as a gate pose because we're forming a gate with that leg. And then from here, I'm going to start to inhale and take the arms up and overhead. Shoulder width apart. Pull the rib cage in and keep the core active. Open up through the upper chest. And then start to exhale, lower your right hand down. And the left hand starts to reach directly up to the sky as you lengthen through the spine. Try and breathe through the left side of the body and reach up as high as you can with the left arm. On the next inhale, start to come back towards center, bring the palms to touch. And on the exhale, start to draw the palms into the heart center. From here, straighten the foot, flex it, and straighten the leg. And then from here, you're going to rotate from the hip, lower the big toe down towards the floor, and then lower the foot flat down such that your toes are pointing towards the front. From here, the left hand is going to go out, and like you're pushing something away, push that hand out to shoulder width. And then start to drop that hand and bring that hand to stack underneath the left shoulder. Now take your right hand towards the left hand and imagine you're pulling a string of a bow. Activate your core and twist from the core. Pull that bow, pull the elbow as far back as you can, and then straighten the arm up and overhead. And now take that right arm over the right ear like you're reaching for something out towards the left side. Try and breathe into the right side of the ribcage. Stay very strong in that left hand. Push the floor away. And then on the next inhale, starting to come back up, bringing the palms to touch. And on the exhale, starting to draw the palms into the heart center. And from here, we come back to center. And then we go to the opposite side. Now extending the left leg out, pointing the toe, and then bending the knee if I need to bring the foot flat down. If you can do the foot flat down without bending the knee, that's fine as well. Starting to inhale, take the arms up and overhead, lengthen through the spine. Reaching for the sky. And then from there, on the next exhale, lower the left hand down towards the left shin, and the right hand is going to reach for the sky. Open up through the chest. Feel for that stretch. Really breathe through the right side of the body as you stretch up. Starting to inhale, come back up. Bring the palms to touch. And on the exhale, draw the palms into the heart center. Now flexing that left foot, straightening that left knee, and then turning the big toe down towards the front. Place the foot flat down. The toes are pointing towards the front. And our right hand now starts to push out at shoulder width, straightening. Then bring that right hand to stack underneath the right shoulder, grip into the floor. Now left hand goes towards right. Take a deep breath in and brace the core. Exhale, start to pull that string of the bow. Pull as far back as you can. And then open that left hand. Take the left hand over the left ear, open up through the left side of the rib cage, and stretch. Begin to inhale, come back towards center, and on the exhale, start to draw the palms into the heart center. Draw that knee back in, and that was a little bit of rotation and opening of the hips and stretching out and lengthening of the adductors. So from here, you're going to come back into your box. And once again, make sure wrists are stacking underneath the shoulders and that the that the index fingers are parallel to one another. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to find that cat spine. So notice how I'm broadening through the back and pushing the floor away from me. Try and get the sense that you're pushing your hands together, but they're not moving. From here, start to extend the right leg towards the back. Lower down onto the ball of that right foot. Maintain that cat spine and active core. Extend the left leg towards the back, lower down. And now you're in a high push-up or a high plank. Stay nice and strong. Make sure none of the back body is collapsing towards the floor. Try not to hold your breath. And when your body tells you, start to push back into your first downward facing dog. Lowering the heels down towards the floor. Keeping a bend in the knees initially if you need it. And remember, the majority of your weight, about 70% of your weight will go into the back body on the legs as I push the shoulders away from the wrists. And then from there, straightening the legs, and then you're going to start to move around in that down dog. Once again, allowing the body to explore and move. So moving in any way that feels good, once again. It might be shaking your head, shaking your pelvis, shaking or moving the shoulder girdle. Anything that feels good. And once you're done with that, start to lower down onto your knees. Spread the knees out wide, lower your buttocks down to the heels, lower down into a child's pose, and relax. Check in with your breath, and then on the next exhale, begin to walk your hands towards the left side, and walk your forehead towards the left knee and stretch out. At the same time, try and maintain the space through the left side of the rib cage. So it's almost like you're extending your spine out towards the side. On the next inhale, come back towards center. And on the next exhale, start to extend out to the opposite side, so moving to the right-hand side. And then on the next inhale, start to come back to center and lower yourself down. Take a deep breath in, gently side or out. From here, start to pull yourself up first into your box. And then from your box, start to push back directly into a downward facing dog. And from our down dog, we're going to do a little bit of spinal mobility. This is known as rolling wave in Budokan. And if you need to watch me first, you can sit down onto your knees and just watch the way that I do this. If you're already familiar with it, we're going to go for it. So the rolling wave is like this. From my down dog, I inhale and I rise up onto the balls of my feet. Then I tuck my tailbone, and you'll notice my spine want to roll forward. The spine rolls forward into flexion, and I bring my hands to stack underneath my shoulders. Then the glutes fire, and I lower my pelvis down, and I open up through the chest, coming into something called floating up dog. Now, if you need to drop your knees onto the mat to make this more accessible, do so. Feel for that opening through the chest, but keep the core very active. Reverse the motion by drawing the chin in towards the chest, and then finding that cat spine and pushing back into downward facing dog. And we do this 2 more times in our own time. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of the feet. Draw pubic bone to navel, roll the spine forward. Come into that plank. Glutes activate, lower the pelvis. Open up through the chest. Push the shoulders away from the ears. Get a sense of length through the spine. Draw the chin in towards the chest. Reverse the motion. Broaden through the back. Push back. Down dog. Last time, your own time. Nice and slow. Articulate through the spine. Inhale. Rise up onto the balls of the feet. Draw pubic bone towards navel. Roll the spine forward. Plank. Lower the pelvis down. Roll the shoulders back, open up into floating up dog. Draw the chin in towards the chest, broaden through the back, push back, down dog. Well done, guys. Now, from here, walk your feet forward, nice and slow. And when the feet meet the hands, fold forward. Keep a bend in the knees if you need to. Lower your forehead down, lower your chin towards your chest. Grab onto the elbows and sway from side to side. From here, lower your hands down towards the floor. Pull your tailbone in towards your navel. Pull your chin in towards your chest. And direct your awareness to the base of your spine. Start to move that awareness up the spine. And as you move that awareness, uncurl the spine, starting to stack the vertebra one by one. The chin will be the last thing that leaves the chest. And that will happen once the rest of the spine has found that neutral. Then you're going to start to look forward and inhale, taking the arms up and overhead, starting to bring the palms to touch and lengthen through the spine. Pull your glutes in, pull your core in, neutralize the pelvis, and then on the exhale, start to draw your palms into your heart center. And then on the next inhale, open up through the chest, rise up onto the balls of your feet. See if you can transfer the weight into the big toes. And if you fall, have fun with it, but holding it there for 3 and 2 and 1, and lower the heels down. Bring your palms to your side. Okay, so that was that was the warm-up, the mindfulness, and a little bit of a sequence. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the rotational aspects of the spine as well. And this might not feel a lot like yoga, but it's as therapeutic. So all you're going to do is you're going to be having your legs to be hip-width apart or slightly more. And all you're going to do is, you notice my hands, all you're going to do is you're going to start to allow yourself to freely swing the hands from left to right. Maybe keeping the core active as you do this. But you'll notice I'm doing this very freely. I'm using a little bit of momentum, and I'm allowing my hands to sort of get or touch the other side of the body. And what I want you to do is see if you can look behind you. And notice if, as you move, you can look further and further behind you. And you're just moving through this nice and slow, or nice and fast, right? But it almost feels effortless in a way because you're using momentum. And this is actually one of the few times where I actually say, hey, let's use momentum. Generally, you'll notice that in my classes, it's very much try not to use momentum. This is an exception to the rule. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to start to give yourself a little bit of tactile stimulation. So you're going to gently extend the left hand out, just tapping the inside and the outside, tapping the shoulder, tapping the back, tapping the neck, bringing it back down. That's the left hand. And then the right hand doing the same thing, tapping, tapping inside and outside, just giving yourself a bit of a tap and a tap. Then you're going to go to the torso, maybe the neck, giving yourself a little bit of tapping the front body, just giving yourself a bit of a massage, tapping the sides, tapping the back, buttocks, lower back, nice and slow. You'll notice that it's making a lot of noise, tapping the outside of the legs, coming to the front of the legs, tapping, coming to the inside, tapping, going to the outside, and tapping, and tapping, and tapping, and tapping. Okay, so you'll notice that the body might feel a lot more relaxed right now. You might feel quite a lot more fluid, I'm hoping, but you notice now I'm just moving in any way that feels good. Yeah. And like I said, very often we don't give ourselves the opportunities to just allow our bodies to move in space. I think the only other time is when we might be dancing and we almost certain nobody can see us, or we don't really care at that point. But anyway, from here, what we're going to do is, so we've been working a little bit on the spinal rotation. When we did that rolling wave, we did spinal flexion and spinal extension. We worked on the hips, we worked on the shoulders a significant amount. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be working a little bit more on the hips now. So you're going to be, from here, you're going to lower yourself down into a bit of a squat, right? The legs are slightly hip-width apart, or slightly more than hip-width apart, with the toes slightly out at about a 10-degree angle as you lower down, as you sit down into a bit of a squat. Now, for some of us, it's okay. You might be on the balls of your feet, and that's okay, that's normal. So you have the option to stay on the balls of your feet, or if you have a pillow handy or a block handy, you can sit on the block if you need to get the heels down. Now, the benefits of this squat, it's known as the garland pose, is it's going to be very good, number one, for the ankle mobility. It's going to be very good for the knees. It's going to be very good for the hips, provided, and just remember, if you have any sort of knee injuries, remember this might not be appropriate, so you're going to adjust to make it a bit more appropriate for you, such that you don't feel any sort of pain or any sort of discomfort in the knees or anywhere else, okay? But once we're here, whether you're on the balls of your feet or not, you're going to take your right hand and extend it out to the right side. Try and place the palm flat down and grip into the floor. And then we're going to use that string of the bow analogy. So take the left hand towards the right. Take a deep breath in and then brace the core. And then on the exhale, start to pull that string of the bow. Pull, twist, open. Notice I'm pulling that string as far back before I extend the arm and open up through the chest. Draw the left hand back towards the right. Take a deep breath in. Brace the core. Pull the string of the bow once again. Open. Draw the hand down once again. Last time. Pull the string of the bow. Activate the core. Open. See if you can open a little bit more wider, looking upwards. Lower. Left hand now out towards the left side. So we do the opposite side. And now right hand goes to left. Brace the core, pull the string of the bow, open up as much as you can, lift the hand as high. Inhale, bring the right hand towards left, brace the core, exhale, twist and open. Inhale, lower that hand back down. Exhale, pull the string of the bow, open, lower that hand down. And then from here, here's what you're going to do. Right? If you can, you're going to lower down without using your hands. Okay, so that's your challenge. If you need to use your hands, by all means do so. But you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm extending one leg forward and finding my balance. And then I'm putting it down. And then I'm lowering that down. And then I'm lowering that down. And you'll notice I'm in a bit of a forward fold. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to be bringing the big toes to touch. Right, and then you're going to flex the feet such that the toes come closer to the shins. you'll feel the muscles at the front of the shin activate. That muscle is known as the tibialis anterior. And then from there, you're going to lengthen through the spine. Try and keep the core very active. Reach for the sky and open up through the chest. And then hinge from the hips. Keep the lower back straight. Fold forward. Lower the hands down wherever they might go. And the last thing for an upper back stretch, pull your chin in towards your chest. And once you're here, start to deepen your breath, slow it down. Try and relax into the stretch, but remember, try and keep your lower back straight. Yeah, you don't want to bend the lower back. So the core is active, those back muscles are active to keep it straight. Take a deep breath in, and then gently sigh it all out. You're going to start to come back towards neutral, back towards center. And then from here, we're going to do a little bit of a rotational twist to open up the spine a little bit more. So you're going to take your left hand, gently grab onto the outside of your right knee. And then take a deep breath in as you lengthen through your spine. Try and keep that spine at 90 degrees. And on the exhale, you're going to start to twist towards your right side, coming into a very gentle twist. Start to inhale, come back towards center. On the next exhale, now take the right hand towards the left knee on the outside, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, start to twist. And then from here, start to inhale, come back towards center. All right, so from here, let's just see how we're doing for time. We still have enough time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit with the opening of the back body, or activation of the back body and opening of the front body. My apologies. But we're going to come into something known as an upward box. So you're going to start to keep, well, legs are going to be hip-width apart, and the feet are going to be flat down. And then the hands are going to go behind you. And the fingertips are going to be pointing out towards the side. You're going to be gripping into the floor. So this is how you might sort of chill at the beach. Okay? But we're going to make this quite an active pose. So you're going to start to open up through the chest by pulling your shoulder blades towards each other. Start to look up. And then pull your ribcage in. Feel the core activate. Push the hands into the floor. Now start to squeeze the glutes. And then press through the heels. Start to feel your pelvis drive up towards the sky. At the same time, keep the ribcage pulling in as you open up through the chest. Try and really lift the pelvis up as much as you can without flaring the ribs. So the ribs are pulling in. And on the exhale, gently start to lower yourself down and relax. Now this is going to be very good for the glute maximus muscle and for the back muscles, the erectus spinae as an example. So as you did, once again, open up through the chest, grip into the floor, pull the ribcage in, activate the glutes, drive through the heels, inhale, lift up, open through the chest, drive the pelvis up, pull the ribcage in. Exhale, start to lower yourself back down. And we're doing this for one last time in your own time. Pull the scapula towards each other, activate the core, inhale, lift, open up through the chest. Looking upwards, maybe looking backwards if you can. And then gently start to lower yourself back down. And then relax, straighten the legs, flex the feet. Start to draw your right knee into your chest. And get that neutral spine, really pull that right knee in. You'll notice I'm flexing the left leg. And we're going to come into a gentle twist here. So you're going to take that left hand, reach for the front, and then wrap that left hand around the right knee. And then take a deep breath in, lengthen through your spine. Now brace the core, and using that right leg as an anchor, pull yourself and twist. So you'll notice that your left knee, your left shoulder will come towards your right knee. Begin to inhale, come back towards center, start to hug that knee in, keep it hugged in, and we're going to activate the hip flexor on the left side. So start to point your left foot and try and maintain that straight upright spine. And then on the next exhale, see if you can lift that leg. Notice how high you can lift that leg off the ground. And on the exhale, start to lower it back down, nice and slow. Take another deep breath in. On the exhale, lift that leg as high as you can. On the exhale, lower it down. And you're doing this one last time in your own time. Take a deep breath in, lift the leg as high as you can, and on the exhale, lower it down. Extend now the right leg, and now hug the left knee into the chest. Hugging it in. And as you did, now taking that right hand forward first, and then grab onto that knee. Take a deep breath in, lengthen through the spine, and exhale and twist. And now your right shoulder is coming towards your left knee. And then on the next inhale, come back towards center. Still hugging that left knee in. Straight spine or neutral spine. Point that right toe. And we're going to activate the hip flexor on the right side now. And on the next exhale, lift that leg as high as you can. Exhale, lower down. Now notice if you want to lean back, right, that's kind of cheating. You want to try and keep the body in as much as you can to really get that hip flexor firing through the full range of motion, or through a range of motion. So on the next exhale, once again, lift that leg nice and high. Exhale, lower down. And last time, once again, lift that leg nice and high. Exhale, lower down. Okay, so we're almost very close to Shavasana, but here's how we're going to end off. Just once again, a bit of an energizing pose. So you're going to bring the big toes to touch and then point the toes, straightening the legs. And then as you did, you're going to start to walk your hands behind you. The hands are going to be shoulder width apart, and the fingertips are going to be pointed out towards the side. And we're going to come into now an upward plank. So taking a deep breath in, push or pull the scapula towards each other, open up through the chest. Pull the ribcage in, squeeze the glutes, press the heels into the floor, feel the pelvis want to drive up, open up, and it's called upward plank because it looks like a plank, but you're inverted. Exhale, start to lower yourself back down. Trying it again. Open through the chest, pull scapula towards each other. Fire the glutes, fire the core. Lift up. Exhale, lower back down. Last time in your own time. Open through the chest. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, open and lift. On the next exhale, lower yourself down. And we're almost there. Point the toes, extend your arms forward, find the cat spine, like you're reaching for something to the front. The objective from here, keep your heels glued down onto the mat. And now using one vertebra at a time, you're lowering yourself down into a lying down position, slow as you can. So you're using the core muscles to control. From there, hug your knees in towards your chest. Start to form a T shape with your hands. On the next exhale, twist your knees towards your left side as you lower down. Breathe deeply. Inhale, come back towards center. Exhale, twist to the other side, lower down. Breathe deeply. Inhale, start to come back towards center. And then from here, straighten the legs, extend the arms out, and come into your Shavasana, last pose of the day. Close your eyes and allow yourself to switch off. And then from here, gently start to move your fingers and move your toes. Take your arms over your head, stretch and lengthen. And then start to hug your knees in towards your chest. Using your right arm as a pillow, rolling onto your right side. And then when you're ready, coming into a comfortable seated position with your palms at your heart center and your eyes closed. And then from here, take this moment to acknowledge the energy and the efforts that you've put into your practice. Honor the warrior within you that strives to change that which you can change. Honor the yogi within you that accepts that which you cannot change. And cultivate the wisdom and the awareness to know the difference. Bring your palms to your forehead, to your lips, and back to your heart, gently blinking the eyes open. And I thank you for practicing. Alrighty, so, well guys, for those of you who joined, I hope you enjoyed it. And that should give you a little bit more energy and make you feel a little bit more fluid through everywhere. If you have any comments or feedback, I would love to hear it. So please send a comment in the comments bar if you have anything. Any ideas as to how we can improve this would be really, really appreciated. But thank you very much. And I think the next session will probably be on a Sunday, but I will keep you guys posted. Thank you very much. Closing the feed. Ciao.